There was only one rule in Citronbloom. Every lemon had to be picked before the 6th bell. If not, the whole town lost a flower. Nobody remembered why. Then one year, the bells stopped ringing. Citronbloom was a strange and wonderful town. People called it impossible the first time they saw it. After that, they just called it home. Lemon trees grew everywhere. Every evening, the lemons glowed a soft gold light. But lemons were not the only magic here. On Featherstitch Lane grew moon-petal daisies. They were white in the day. At night, they turned silver blue. The bakery wall was covered in emberose vines. These roses were deep orange-red. They felt warm, like a small fire. In the town square, honeydrop plums hung from low branches. Each morning, one drop of syrup fell from every plum. Children lined up with spoons to catch it. Near the orchard walls grew stranger flowers still. Tall whisperbud lilies hummed soft songs in the wind. Small sugarplum orchids smelled like vanilla. The longer you left them, the sweeter they became. Behind the schoolhouse stood one starfruit tree. Cut open, its fruit looked like the night sky. Its seeds glowed like tiny stars. No two flowers in Citronbloom were ever exactly the same. It was as if the whole town had grown from someone's best dream of a garden. Wren Marigold was 11 years old. She had grown up climbing the lemon trees. She loved naming new flowers before her friends could. Her grandmother was old Tamsin. Tamsin ran the only bottling shop in town. She filled jars with golden lemon light. Travelers bought these jars and said the light never faded. Every lemon holds a little bit of a good day, Tamsin often said. She would seal a jar with a happy little click. Pick it before dusk, and the good day stays golden forever, she said. Leave it too long, and... She never finished that sentence. She would just smile and tap the side of her nose. Wren never saw what happened if a lemon was picked too late. Until one spring. That spring, the trees began to bloom at the wrong times. It started small. One lemon tree flowered in summer instead of spring. Then the moon-petal daisies stopped glowing at night. They turned gray, like ordinary weeds. Then the emberose vines turned cold. They wilted 1 week before the lemon festival. The one day each year when the whole town gathered under golden lanterns. The whisperbud lilies grew quiet, one by one. By festival week, half the flowers in town had closed tight, like fists. The honeydrop plums stopped weeping their syrup. And the 6th bell, the bell that had rung every night of Wren's whole life, did not ring at all. That evening, Wren found her grandmother in the shop. Tamsin was staring at one lemon. It had turned the color of an old bruise instead of gold. Someone has stopped ringing the bell, Tamsin said quietly. This scared Wren more than anything, because her grandmother was never quiet about anything. Who rings the bell? Wren asked. No one living remembers, Tamsin said. It has simply always rung. Tamsin wrapped the spoiled lemon in cloth. She wrapped it gently, the way you would wrap something that had died. It's time you knew the truth, Tamsin said. You are old enough now to hear it plainly. Citronbloom does not grow this way by accident. Long ago, someone made a bargain with a garden spirit. She gave up her freedom. In return, she gave the whole town endless bloom. She keeps the trees flowering out of season. She keeps the light inside every lemon. Every evening, the bell reminds the whole town to thank her. Everyone says it together, out loud before dusk. That thanks is what gives her the strength to continue, day after day. "And if no one thanks her?" Wren asked. "Then she starts to wonder if the bargain was ever worth it," Tamsin said. "And a spirit who feels forgotten stops tending her garden." Wren looked around the shop. She saw 100 jars of golden light, all of them sold to strangers. Not one of those strangers had ever said thank you. Her stomach turned cold. "Where does she live?" Wren asked. Tamsin's hands went still on the wrapped lemon. "The hollow root," she said. "Under the oldest tree in the square. No one has gone down there in my whole lifetime. It isn't forbidden exactly. Everyone simply forgot there was ever a door. The oldest tree in the square had roots as thick as doorways. Between two of them, Wren found an archway of woven bark. She was almost certain it hadn't been there yesterday. Or maybe, she thought, it had always been there, waiting for someone to finally look. Below the archway, the hollow root was not dark at all. It glowed the same warm gold as every jar in her grandmother's shop. Wren understood in a sudden rush. This was where all that light truly came from, not the other way around. Curled in the middle of the glow sat a woman. She was made entirely of Citronbloom's own flowers. Her hair was made of moon-petal daisies, but grey now instead of silver blue. Wilted ember rose petals lay across her shoulders like a cold cloak. Whisperbud blossoms hung silent at her wrists. Even her face was made of soft petals, drooping now, like flowers left too long in the sun. She looked smaller and far more tired than Wren had ever imagined a garden spirit could be. "You came to ask why the bells stopped," the spirit said. She did not look up. "I stopped them myself. I grew tired of caring for a garden that no one remembers to thank. Every jar was sold, every lantern was lit for the festival, but not one voice was ever raised for the one who kept the whole town golden. I began to wonder if I mattered to any of you at all, or if I was only machinery hidden behind pretty flowers." Wren thought of the 100 jars upstairs, sold, admired, treasured, and not one buyer had ever wondered what kept that light from fading. She felt truly, deeply ashamed, on behalf of a whole town that had simply stopped noticing its own good fortune. "I didn't know to thank you," Wren admitted. "None of us did. Not because we didn't care. We simply forgot that there was anyone to thank at all. That isn't the same as not caring, but I understand why it might feel that way. Down here, alone, every single evening." The spirit finally looked up. Something like surprise flickered across her petal face. "You are the first to come down and simply say that," she said, "instead of asking me to fix the trees." "I would like the trees fixed too," Wren said honestly. "But I came because it sounded like you needed someone to notice you had stopped, not just someone asking you to start again." The spirit was quiet for a long moment. Slowly, her petals began to straighten. The way flowers do when the sun finally comes out from behind a cloud. "I cannot promise I won't grow tired again," she said at last. "A bargain with no voice on either side rarely lasts the way it should. But perhaps the bell could ring for a different reason now. Not a duty that is owed, a thank you that is truly meant. If your whole town said it together, and meant it, I think I could believe it. Enough to continue a good while yet." Wren climbed back up through the archway. She ran straight to the town square. The unlit festival lanterns still hung there, waiting. She told everyone who would listen exactly what her grandmother had told her, and exactly what she had found beneath the oldest tree. That evening, for the first time in Citronbloom's living memory, The sixth bell rang for a new reason. Not because it always had, but because the whole town gathered beneath the lanterns and rang it themselves, together. They called one simple thank you down into the hollow root. Overdue, but meant with every word. By morning, the lemons had turned gold again. That same night, the moon-petal daisies glowed silver blue once more, brighter than Wren had ever seen them. Within the week, the emberose vines grew warm again. They climbed the bakery wall, thick with new blooms. The whisperbud lilies filled the orchard air with humming songs once more. The honeydrop plums wept their morning syrup right on schedule. The sugar-plum orchids turned sweeter than ever. And the lone starfruit tree behind the schoolhouse gave, for the first time anyone could remember, 2 fruits instead of 1. It was as if the whole garden was showing off just a little. Simply delighted to finally be noticed. No one but Wren and old Tamsin ever saw the garden spirit again. But every evening after that, right at dusk, the whole town paused for one small moment. However busy they were, they said their thank you out loud, not because the bell demanded it, but because Wren made sure that no one in Citronbloom would ever forget again. Just how much good fortune had a name, 100 different flowers, and had been listening the whole time. The next lemon festival came, warm and golden as ever. The lanterns hung gold and warm above the square, just like every year before. But this year, everything glowed a little brighter. The moon-petal daisies shimmered silver blue along every path. The ember rose vines climbed higher than anyone remembered, warm to the touch even in the cool evening air. Honeydrop plums hung heavy and full, and the whisperbud lilies hummed louder than ever, filling the whole square with soft music. Even the lone starfruit tree behind the schoolhouse had grown 3 new fruits that year, each one patterned with its own tiny, private night sky. This time, something new bloomed alongside the old flowers. Small white blossoms appeared only once a year, right before the festival began. The town called them candlewick blooms, because each one glowed like a tiny, steady flame. No one had ever seen them before that spring. Wren had a guess about where they came from, though she never said it out loud. That evening, a young girl named Philo tugged at Wren's sleeve in the square. "Why does everyone go quiet at dusk?" Philo asked. "Why do we all say thank you together?" Wren knelt down beside her, the way her grandmother once had. "Because someone takes care of this whole town every single day," Wren said, "and for a long time, we forgot to tell her so." "Is she still out there?" Philo asked, looking around at the glowing trees. "I think so," Wren said. "As long as we keep remembering, I think she'll keep listening." The 6th bell rang, clear and warm across the square. The whole town went quiet, just for a moment, and said the words together. "Thank you." Somewhere beneath the oldest tree in the square, the hollow root glowed a little brighter. And high above, one by one, the candlewick blossoms opened fully, small steady flames of white light scattered like stars across the whole town, as if Citronbloom itself were smiling.